Hi, welcome back to section 5.1, nth roots and rational exponents. This video we're going to be focusing on converting between radical notations, and rational exponent, notation. So just like before in elementary school where you learn the differences, well, not really the difference, but you learned how to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions, this is the same thing. We're going to convert radical notation to rational exponent. Okay, here, I reviewed it in the last video, is how to convert it. Add names to them, right? And there was another way to do it as well. You can also convert a to the m over n to equal the nth root of a to the m. So that, I want to point out, the exponent can either go around the entire thing or just inside at the radicand, same thing. Okay, the new part here is if the rational exponent is negative. Now remember, we learned that if it's a negative exponent, you're going to turn it into its reciprocal, right? So you do the same thing and you just convert everything here to the denominator. And a cannot equal 0. All right, let's do problems. Okay, this is in which form? Is it in radical notation or is it in rational exponent notation? Well, there's a little exponent there, so that means we're going to convert it to a radical notation. Okay, let me rewrite it again here. A to the m over n is going to equal, n is the index, right? A is the radicand, and then m is the exponent. The index here, a good way to remember it, okay, index is also called the root. And the root is in the denominator. So I always think of like the roots of a tree are underneath the ground, right? So it's in the bottom. So that's a good way to remember that. And the exponent, it's on top here. So that's why it stays up here on top as well. All right, let's convert A. Let's put the radicand, which is 16. The root, which is in the denominator. Oh, it's 2, which is also a square. You don't have to write that. I'll write it here for teaching purposes. And all of that to the third power. So the way you're going to evaluate it is you're going to work from the inside the parentheses, of course, out. So the square root of 16 is 4. So once you do the square root, the radical sign goes away. Now that's 4 to the third power, right? So 4 to the third power is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. Okay. Now, we can also, so this is writing it into a radical form. We can also rewrite it if you wanted to, leave it in rational exponent form. Some kids like to do that. So I'm just going to show that to you for this one. Now there's these rules. This is the exact same thing as 16 to the 1/2 to the third power, because what I did was a power to a power, you've learned, you multiply that. So that's the same thing as 16 to the 3/2. Well, 16 to the 1/2, which is the same thing as square root, is equal to 4. 4 to the third power is 64. So there's different ways of seeing it. I want you to get used to the different ways of seeing it. Okay, let's do B. Oh, notice, before we even get started, there's a negative here. So we're going to flip the whole thing into its reciprocal and get rid of the 3/5, the negative. Okay, so let's do it as, we'll do it as square root radical sign first. Sorry, not square root, radical sign first. So 1 over the fifth root of 32, all of that to the third power. The fifth root of 32 is 2. 2 to the third power is 8. So it's 1 over 8. All right, let's do it as a rational exponent. The negative, you're still gonna flip it into its reciprocal. And I'm going to rewrite the exponent. So this is going to be 32 to the 1/5, the fifth root, all of that cubed. And the fifth root of 32 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. All right, let's do one more problem for monitoring progress, and we'll have lots of time to practice. All right, oh, this is evaluate it with a calculator. So in class, I'm going to show you how to put this into your calculator. Our graphing calculators are amazing. So we'll do that in class. And let's go to do one of the monitoring progresses. All right, so let's pick one. Let's pick two of them. Let's pick 5, and then we'll do a negative one. Okay, 4 to the 5/2. And I don't care which method you use. If you use the radical notation or if you use a rational exponent notation, it's the same thing. So I'm going to change this to the radical notation, to the 5th power. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. And 2 to the 5th power is 32. And let's do number 6 with a negative. Remember, we're going to flip it. And I want you to get used to, anytime you see 1/2, it's always just going to be square root. Okay, that's a new thing. So that's going to be 1 over 3. Okay, lots of practice. That's how we're going to learn it.